let me know when you can see my screen.
Yeah, I can see.
So
What about rows? What all are rows required here for student,
correct.
course, teacher?
That's what I was going to walk you through.
Mm-hmm.
Wait 1 second. Because once you create the service, right, then we can start on the Docker part and how to deploy an image or a database, or we can start on that part once we have the
Okay.
base service ready. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
anyway, let me start first this thing. So let's say we have these 4 tables. Okay. Okay, so let's start with first is to teacher. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
teacher table. Oh, this is bad. Okay, teacher table. Now teacher will have what? An ID, right? A name. Let's keep things simple for now, right? Just ID and
Okay.
name. Similarly, we'll do for student. Again, same thing, ID and name. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go for course. Now course will have its own ID. Then there's a
Mm-hmm.
foreign key, which is for teacher ID, right?
Okay.
Right. So course will have ID, teacher ID, and then maybe you can put like name of the course, or then you can add more details. You can figure out those details later, right? And then the main thing will be our enrollment. Okay, here you will have for each enrollment you will have one course ID. Okay, of course you can create its own ID also, one primary key if you want to do it. But
Okay.
otherwise also one will be course ID and other will be student ID,
Okay.
right? Now this is the base, right? So now you can
Mm-hmm.
understand, right? Like for
Yeah.
each course, you'll have only one teacher, right? And here you can now like enforce this thing as well, that course ID and student ID are the primary key. So that way,
Okay.
one course like same student cannot take same course multiple times, right?
Got it. Yeah.
So this you can, if you create a data
One
in
more thing,
database.
in
uh,
real time, do we have any database engineer or developer to design this part, or is it our
mm,
responsibility?
yeah, it's our responsibility. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Uh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so yeah, because okay, the thing is like this most of the time, right? Let's say if you're using a NoSQL database, right? Then
Okay.
you don't worry about the schema in
Okay.
general, right? But if you're using a relational database, then you have to design the schema.
Schema. Mm-hmm.
I know. That's what we are doing, right? We are
Mm-hmm.
like designing a schema. So, and now you can even say here, okay, so course has a one-to-one relationship with the teacher, while enrollment has one to each enrollment will have multiple courses and multiple students. So this is like this relationship is one to one, right?
Yeah.
But this relation is one to many. Similarly here also one to many, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this becomes essential if you're doing again relational database. Okay. So
Okay.
my idea is like you create these tables, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, you create the CRUD APIs as well for all 4 of these, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like create teachers, subject, right? And
Yeah.
then some like main important thing will be the enrollment. That now
Okay.
you created these 3 entities. How
Mm-hmm.
do I write operations for adding enrollment or removing an enrollment, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Once we have all these 4 ready, that means essentially we now have this service ready. So we don't
Okay.
need this one separately.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, this one, opt in and opt out, we can remove that, right? This one we can remove.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have this one ready. This is our main service.
Okay.
Okay, which talks to database, and then what we can do, we can like for the first part of microservice, we can put this code, right, and that MySQL DB
Mm-hmm.
on one Docker image, and then we can deploy that.
Oh, okay.
You know? So that's what I
Mm-hmm.
was thinking. Because once, so this will be like the first part. Now, second part will be, then we'll write one independent service for listing the courses. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
again, for now it will be very simple. Like for list courses, we don't have to, like, if you don't want to, like, we can always uh like, create an independent service which directly talks to this service, CRUD service, right?
Okay. Okay.
And we can, the inside the CRUD service will run simple SQL query, you know.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So you are understanding, right, what I'm trying to explain here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Correct. Correct.
one way is you can list the courses by directly running SQL query, but of course
Mm-hmm.
that's not efficient, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, our purpose is not to go for efficient solution, but to understand how that intra-service communication will be. So what we'll do,
Okay.
right, here in
Mm-hmm.
this CRUD service, we'll open one API,
Mm-hmm.
okay, but that API will not open via REST. We'll
Okay.
open via gRPC.
ERPC. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the currently the APIs you will write for this here, those will be all REST APIs. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
but for exposing the list one, we'll write a gRPC. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
that list service will actually call that that API. Okay, and then get the list of courses, and then it will display it,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that gets you two things done. One is the Docker part, and another part is how does communication between services open happen, and how does
Mm-hmm.
service communicates with the external service. So external, it's you have REST, but for internal, you have gRPC. So
ERPC.
both will be covered. Okay. So
Okay.
actually,
Okay.
yeah, I don't have much to teach today. Like I thought this will go over this, and like,
Mm-hmm.
now basically tasks up to you. And like, of course, if you get anywhere stuck or doubt, feel free to message. And again, like tomorrow
WhatsApp.
session, we can again, I can help you out with your doubts.
Okay, okay. See, database part I will take care, but only
Hmm.
problem coming to the Golang side, how to
Hmm.
make crude operations. That is
No,
only,
no. So you did that, right? Okay,
yeah,
okay, okay. Wait, I
creating
got.
one table. Yeah, I did it. If
Hmm.
multiple table is there, then how to
Hmm.
integrate that multiple table? That is I don't know.
Okay, okay. So, should I show you some code I had written on like some time back
Mhm.
in one of those? Maybe I think it should be in workspace. It will be in this one. Okay, let me show you some code base that might help.
Mhm, okay.
Okay, so in general, for managing this databases side,
Mhm.
wait, oh, I have it there also. No, I don't need to show. This one is much more complicated. I think this will be better. Wait, let me open this one. Yeah. So generally, right, this is what I was telling you. So you can follow this architecture. Basically, this is what you do in any production as well. Okay.
Mhm.
So what we do is you create one package
Mhm.
for just the database side. Okay, you keep it separate. So
Okay.
wherever your main code is, right, the essentially what I mean by that is routing code that will be in a
Mhm.
separate package, and the database side will be in a separate package.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay. Mhm.
that's one thing. Now inside that database one, we'll have like this one.
Models.
Uh, so one file is for just for creating the connection. So you did
Mm-hmm.
this actually, right? You
Yeah,
created the
correct.
database connection. So
Correct,
split
correct.
that into a separate file. Okay.
Okay,
And
okay.
expose a client. You can expose like these functions, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So like here, if you notice, we create the database client, right? Now this client gets returned. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Client object, and we use that for connection. Okay.
Okay.
Now
Mm-hmm.
inside, so now let's say you have, in your case, you have four tables, right?
Yeah,
Here there
correct.
were actually only two tables. So for
Mm-hmm.
each of the table, you create a separate file.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now then what do we do generally? For whatever the schema we have, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the table, corresponding to that, we create a struct.
Okay.
Okay. How this struct will help us? Because you'll use this Gorm library, right? So this
Mm-hmm.
will essentially, like, let's say now in my case, I think, yeah, here it is, right? So all the column names will specify here. Okay. So when we actually query the direct
Mm-hmm.
DB, right, using this client, which will get returned from db.go, it can
Okay.
directly map it. You get my
Okay,
point,
okay.
right? So,
Yeah.
like, look at this thing, create position row. Now, here I'm creating a row in this table. So, what I'm doing, I got all the data I wanted. I created a row. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
if you look at this struct, what is this struct is the same as the one we have above, right?
Yeah.
And then we simply do this thing. Again, the DB client, right, which came from there, you
Mm-hmm.
know, object of this thing, and then it creates a position row. Now this one, and of course there's a check. Okay, if it's an error, then we do rollback, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
that's like
Yeah.
the transition part, right? You want to make sure and if it's successful, then only you commit. Okay, so this is
Yeah, correct.
how this create will happen. Similarly, you
Okay.
can also do it for let's say if you're just doing a query, right? Kind of like list or search. So
Mm-hmm.
you can write a query like this here. Okay. So let's say I needed to do some run IDs are there, and I need to do a join, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
even if you want to go more simple, think of it simply like this one, right? I want to retrieve some rows from this table position
Okay, okay.
where I have a run ID, leg name, and instrument key, and this ID, right? So I write a query. Now, there's one thing, right? Uh, because if you know in Golang, you can always do you remember that fmt.sprintf,
Yeah.
right? So you
Mm.
can, like, if I have these four parameters, I can always just populate them right here, right? I can do that
Oh.
in the query. It's anyway a string, right? Query is nothing but a string. So
Mm-hmm.
why am I doing it like this? The question mark. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
once I have that, then I run a query on the, again, using the same DB client dot row. What I'll do now, I'll send you this one file. Actually, I think that
Okay,
will
okay.
help you. This,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe I'll just send you this entire
Yeah, correct, correct.
MySQL database. This one particular folder I'll send you.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, okay. So this thing, right? So now you see what I'm doing, right? The query is the first thing. Then all these parameters I am passing as the arguments here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
yeah.
then you get the result in the position rows here.
Okay.
Okay. And then we check, hey, whether there are now these are some like specific checks, right? If you have length is one, then like I'm expecting there should be only one row. So then I'm returning the first entry. If it's zero, that means there are no error entry. If there are more than one, then that's an error for me, right? So accordingly, I'll return the result. Okay.
Okay.
And if you have to do a join across two, three tables, then you can do like something like this,
Mm-hmm.
right?
But
And the
in
same
our
thing.
case, join, it is not
Hmm.
required, correct now?
For now, yeah, because we're just doing list, right? Kind of
Yeah,
CRUD. So we don't need
correct,
to.
correct.
But you should know like how to do it, right?
Yeah.
And then yeah, this you don't know for now. So yeah, something like this you'll do. What I'll do, I'll put this into a zip folder and I'll send it to you, share it with you. Okay.
Okay, okay. You can put it in GitHub, then I can take it from there also.
That's even better.
Yeah.
Do you have a GitHub repo somewhere?
Yes, I have 1 second.
Okay. Share me the link and give me
Mhm.
permission. I'll put it there.
Okay, sure, sure.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
should help you, right? So
Yeah,
like
correct.
if you notice here, right, we also do the similar thing, right? Now the main
Mm-hmm.
service, like the starting point is right here. Okay. So that is in a separate module. And the database part is in a different module. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Now similarly, what you should also do is for each of no, so in your case, I'm thinking the diagram, like the modules. So
Mm-hmm.
normally what you will have, your first one will be the main. Okay. So that will handle routes, right? Uh, routing basically handles routing. So
Mm-hmm.
okay. Now each of them there will be like CRUD operation. But yeah, okay. You will also create one common library, okay,
Mm-hmm.
common package, where you will have the data structure to maintain that. So one thing, right? Understand, Prabha?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so these data structures, right? Like when I say data structure, I mean what I mean by that is the teacher-student course enrollment. Okay, you will have two kind of data structures for them. Okay,
Okay.
one for your like think of it like your server side, and one is for database side.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so I'll give you an example again. Here, this is the example is there. That's it will be helpful. So see here now, there is this position struct, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but now this position struct is the mapping of the table basically, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right, but if you notice here, I also have this if you look at this create position row, right? Let's take that only the example. Here say this got converted in the database side, then t is there. This t, now see there is also another structure called position.
Okay.
Okay, so if you go to this has also, so you get the point, right? There's that one is not the position you will use for your CRUD service.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. In your case, you will have one common lab like package where
Mm-hmm.
you'll have teacher object, right? Student object, course object, and then enrollment object. Okay,
Yeah,
and
correct.
then in the database module, right? You can call it similar to my or something else as well. MySQL DB
Mm-hmm.
module uh, or model, sorry, not module, right? Here also you will have another teacher, student, course. Now you can call them this thing. What do you call?
Mm-hmm.
Like here, what is the? I think I'm calling them. No, ha. That's one good thing actually about Golang. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so the tables which you will create, right? So let's say that item is entity is teacher. Okay,
Okay.
so the table name will not be teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, table name will be teachers.
Teachers. Oh, okay.
है ना?
Mm-hmm.
So similarly, here your model MySQL. So this classification you have to remember. Here this will
Mm-hmm.
also be teacher, students, courses, and
Even that
enrollment.
Go file name also teaches students course enrollments. Correct.
Correct, correct. Like you
Okay.
notice here, right? This is
Yeah,
position.
yeah.
This is strategy. We can call it actually strategy. Strategy also. Okay. This particular, right?
Mm-hmm.
File name doesn't matter. You know, that's
Yeah, yeah.
one clarification, right? File name doesn't
Mm.
matter. What matters is
Okay.
this thing, the struct name, basically, right? So in my case, if you notice, right, the table name is still strategies. I'll show you 1 second. How do I show you? I should have it here. See, table name was strategies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but the struct name, like I kept it strategy, but you can keep it something else as well. Like strategies are actually you can keep it. Okay, it won't matter.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that's one way to differentiate between these two.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So yeah, so you'll have these three modules, right? This one will handle the database side. This one will be the common. Why I'm saying you can keep it for now, because let's say in future we want to do something more, right? So then this can be helpful for us. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
translation wise, and then main. So essentially, you need to create three modules: one main, one common, and one MySQL DB modules.
This handling and routing also we can separate. We can create a separate folder.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah, we
uh,
can do. I just kept it like basic, but yeah, you can of course get another module called like
mm-hmm.
routing, right? And with then this calls routing or whatever else, redirection you can do,
Mm-hmm.
right? But okay, I think yeah. Any other question?